Well, hi, everybody, Ken Johnson here with you, and I wanted to take the time to kind of talk about maybe what's going to transpire as we head into the weekend here with some chances for severe weather. Of course, I've been talking about this the last couple of days. Mid to late May is traditionally or historically the time of the year when we get our probably most active severe weather days in our part of the country. Now, this afternoon here, not a whole lot going on across our part of the country. There's some high clouds associated with what we call the upper level subtropical jet stream moving overhead from out of the Pacific Ocean. There's also that ridge of high pressure, still pretty hot over Texas here today, and our temperatures got well into the 90s. You're also seeing a bit of what we call storm system or trough up here in the Rocky Mountain states. I'd ahead of that some storms up in the Dakotas. This is going to swing by to the north and east of us, probably produce some severe weather over here tomorrow, and then there'll be a trailing front coming in on the backside of that, and that might give some shower thunderstorm activity. Isolated, not a lot in the way of severe weather down our way, perhaps maybe tomorrow, and that front will also help cool things off just a little bit. Whoops, I backed up. Need to back up a little bit here. Now let's go out into the Pacific Ocean here. We're going to fly out here into the Pacific, and after this storm system kind of gets out of the way, we have a couple other storms out here, a little spin down in this area here, but there's another storm that's going to kind of round the base and kind of drop into this area as we head into the weekend, and that's going to send several disturbances in our direction, and it is also going to allow for a lot of tropical moisture to come in from out of the Gulf. So the scenario, the setup is there for some potential big-time severe weather. We got to look at the upper-level jet stream to find these storm systems here, and there are some uncertainties in regards to how everything's going to come together here at this. But system number one's out of here as we head into the weekend. Here we are on Saturday. And again, there could be a little chance for some storms in the area on Saturday, but I don't think we'll see our better severe weather chances come into play until we maybe get into Sunday here. Again, we got the upper level jet coming into the picture here. There's some little disturbances. This type of a pattern favors isolated stuff, but of course with the wind energy and the kind of instability we have building, if you do get it, it could be pretty strong and pretty severe here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, the big question marks come into early next week here. So the main storm system, this is the way it usually happens. It's slowing up today. It's actually digging deeper and is a little bit stronger over here in the southwestern part of the country. In order for us to see higher end severe weather here, this needs to kick out at the right time of the day, which would be during the afternoon on Monday when you get that peak heating here. The latest information is slowing that up quite a bit. So you may, and a lot of the weather information really waits until basically late Monday night or early Tuesday before the main upper level system begins to kick out. But again, this could be a little bit too a little bit too fast here. And for that reason, I think that this severe threat could linger into Tuesday as well, even though the weather information kind of suggests our main time period would be Sunday and Monday. But I'm thinking Sunday, Monday, possibly into Tuesday. Well, I just have to see how it all comes together. But again, a lot of uncertainties. And when we look for severe weather and severe weather chances, the key thing we look for is what's called the dry line. And the dry line is basically, it's an imaginary line, but it's a line that separates the real humid air from the Gulf to the east from the real dry arid-like air from the west here, almost like desert-like air. So if you put this in motion, here we are Saturday, a little bit of a dry line down into this area, kind of moving through parts of Texas, western Oklahoma, good reservoir moisture to the east. Some weather information tries to pull this moisture a little bit further west, so we'll see what happens. So an isolated severe threat's possible on Saturday here. And then on Sunday, you can see the dry line retreats back to the west a bit. That usually happens during the night, early morning hours. And then by the afternoon, pretty sharp dry line. Once again, they're pretty much between about Wichita Falls and Vernon, Texas. Really dry, hot back to the west, really humid out ahead of that. Again, isolated storms are possible along it. Now, when we get into Monday, again, here's your uncertainties. You have a nice dry line, kind of in the same area, not really moving a whole lot. But you don't have a lot of what we call upper level features kicking into place. We don't have a lot of upper level energy to really help get the air lifted up along that dry line. So, and that could be kind of lagging behind a bit. But even so, when you get a sharp dry line like that, there still could be isolated severe storms along or ahead of it. And again, the type of atmosphere you have with all this wind energy and all this instability, if you do get severe weather, it could be rather rough. Now, as we get into Tuesday, you can see it, the weather information trying to bring that area of low pressure by Tuesday afternoon up here, and that would push the dry line east of I-35. But again, don't be surprised if that slows up a bit. That's still quite a ways out. So again, isolated severe threat possible on Saturday. I'm going to draw the best chances Texas to the south, and this will indeed change between now and then. I'm just kind of showing you what the setup looks like for right now, and then there's that chance for some severe weather over us on Sunday and into Monday, a lot of which should be fairly isolated. This doesn't look like what we saw back in April, where we got all that heavy rain that would develop at night. This looks like primarily an isolated thing that would develop during the mid to late afternoon and early evening hours. But again, if we do get it, it could be rather rough here. So if you look at severe potential, this does show a little bit trying to show up on Saturday, and again, higher levels on Sunday. And then as we get into Monday, you can see how the atmosphere really tries to soup up for it here. And if everything can line up, then that would probably be our highest impact day, would be Monday. So you can see the storms here that's showing up on the computer model. And let me advise you, though, that these could be too far east. And don't be surprised if they're a little bit further west than that. So that's Saturday. They kind of move on out of the way. And then we get into Sunday. Here we are, Sunday morning. Not a lot going on. But then again in the afternoon, there's some indications anyway that there will at least be some isolated stuff down here on the dry line, maybe some better stuff up here. But again, you'll have to watch down into this area as well. And if we do get it, again, the isolated stuff can be the worst. So as you head into Monday, you can see not a whole lot showing up, but there will be some storms here or there isolated again along the dry line, but it's not showing a whole lot. And then as you head into Tuesday, you can see those storms, your main storm energy up here. You can really see those strong storms. And that, once again, could be some high impact severe weather there on Tuesday. So a lot to watch in the coming days here. And as of right now, these are my highlighted days that I'm watching the most here would be Saturday for some isolated severe weather. Sunday, Monday, higher potential impact days there with some thunderstorms. Tuesday, the threat could push to our east, but we will keep an eye on that. Again, high impact potential Sunday, Monday. If we do get it, it could be rather nasty. No first alert weather days are being issued as of yet, but that could be on the horizon. Remember just to have a good source of weather information, a good source that you can believe in, and somebody that's not going to overhype and just give you the facts, whether that be me or somebody else. Just be careful not to trust those guys out there on social media.